Hey everybody, Eric from Collect&Reflect here, and we have been thinking a lot about God of War recently, especially looking forward to the November 9th release of God of War Ragnarok. Now, we have played a ton of God of War for PS4, the previous latest edition of God of War that has come out, but we've really been thinking about even further into the past, God of War 1, 2, and 3, the PSP games, and God of War Ascension that came out for PS3 and PS2 back in the day, and we realized that we only really have one copy of God of War 1, even though I've played through all of them. Things come and go over the years, so I want to go ahead and try to complete some of the gaps in my God of War collection before we get to the release of God of War Ragnarok, which we will have a midnight release for, if it is still happening in the store. So we are going to grab some of the games we've picked up over the past couple of weeks. If you've seen any of our Goodwill game hunts, we're gonna grab some of those games that we decided not to keep and take them over to our retro game store that takes trade-ins and see what they have in the God of War department and see what they'll give us for this stack of games here. And hopefully we will be able to walk away with something cool for some of the stuff that we didn't want. So come check out what we are getting rid of. So over here we've got God of War for PS2 that we are not getting rid of. This is the only copy that I currently have of God of War for PS2, and unfortunately I've got this generic GameStop EB Games case and not the original black label, so that is definitely not going to cut it for our game shelf. So I'm actually gonna see if I can maybe even replace this copy today or see what else they have in store. I've got this third-party DualShock 3 PlayStation 3 controller to get rid of. I've got a third-party PlayStation 2 wired controller. I've got Nintendo Land, Call of Duty Black Ops 4, How to Train Your Dragon 2, and Battleship for PS3. We've got Bratz Girls Really Rock Bratz for Wii, W13 for Xbox 360, Modern Warfare 2 and 3 for 360, U-Draw Studio for the Wii, Guitar Hero 3 for PlayStation 2, and also a copy of Wii Play. So we're gonna go ahead and take this all in and see what we can get. Not honestly expecting to get a lot out of all of these games, but I'm hoping to get enough for at least maybe one of the God of War remastered editions for PlayStation 3, maybe God of War Collection, God of War Origins Collection, something like that. And we're gonna see what we can get. So follow us to the store and we will check it all out. So here we are walking up to Gamers Inc., our local retro game store. So in addition to retro, they do have current gen systems, PlayStation 4, 5, Xbox One, S, etc. Whatever the Xboxes are called this day, but come on in and let's trade in some games. So headed over to the shelf. They've done some remodeling in here recently. It's looking really awesome. Didn't find anything in the PS2 section, but over in PS3 we do have God of War Collection and 2 copies of God of War 3. So I'm going to see which box is looking nicer. But we've got God of War 1 and 2 for PS3 collected here for $14.99. We'll see how much our trade ends up moving towards that. And they do have a copy of God of War 3. $10 is a little more than I want to spend, but it'll do. And since I'm in the store, I did have to check out some of the DS collection and other great items that they have in their display case. Some of the pricier items in here, just a really great selection. So here are the games on the shelf. Our buddy here is checking them out and getting us rung up, letting us know what everything is worth. And just here's a little tour of the store. And here's our bag walking out. Alrighty. So we're outside of the store. Got what we were looking for. Got at least 2 of the things we were looking for and some other goodies that I'm going to show when we get back to the house. But that was definitely a success. Spent more than I wanted to, but I couldn't resist on some of the items that we'll show you in a minute. All right, everybody, so we're back from Gamers Inc., our local retro game store, and we were able to trade some of those games, and we were able to find some of the God of War games that we're after. Now, there were a lot of other tempting items that I just couldn't pass up, so we did meet the goal of trading in those games for the value of the God of War games that we wanted. However, I did go over the spending budget just a little bit to pick up some things that I just couldn't pass by. One of them being, if you've spied it already, is the PlayStation Move Sharpshooter controller for PlayStation 3. So check out this bad boy. This thing is pretty awesome. It has all kinds of bells and whistles and all of the buttons seem to be working. And the main reason that I really wanted to get this is because we got a PlayStation Move recently on one of our Goodwill hunts. If you've seen that in our shorts, definitely go check out that playlist. but I was looking for this game because I want to play Time Crisis with it, which I did just get for PlayStation 3. Got Time Crisis Raising Storm, which has Time Crisis 4 and a few other games in there. And this game is going to allow me to play Time Crisis at home, which is something I've been wanting to do for years. Now, Time Crisis 4, probably not my favorite in the series. I think probably Time Crisis 2 or 3 would be my favorite, but as far as being able to play at home, this is going to be a great way to do it, so I'm really excited to check this out. And the price on it was really great. They said that these were recently traded in, barely used, from somebody that had them set up in a rental unit basically for their customers to check out. And I mean, I just get to reap the benefits there because I got this for really cheap, about 15 bucks, and looking at these on eBay, which I have been doing recently, 15 bucks is pretty much the shipping alone for one of these, just because it's kind of a clunky thing to ship, and I can see, you know, it's going to cost that much to ship. I would know after, you know, selling some of the things that I have on eBay. So that's really great. I'm going to go ahead and put that down and move on to the games that we got here. So we've got our bag from Gamers Inc., like you saw outside the store. And before we get to the games, I do have to show up another item in the bargain bin over at Gamers Inc. that I got. So this is a Game Boy Advance SP carrying case. And I have no idea when this came out, probably at some point during the heyday of the Game Boy Advance SP. But it's Velcro, it's got a nice padded interior, it's got space for a few games, and it is complete with this nice handle and the carrying strap, which, I mean, altogether, I mean, this thing is solid. So if I'm ever going anywhere with my Game Boy Advance SP, this is going to be the way to do it. So that was a steal. This was around $8 to $9, I think. And yeah, couldn't pass that up for the price. Definitely needed that in my collection. And now on to the items that we've all been waiting to see. Separate green bag of games. Taking that out. So, not God of War, but I got Infamous 2 because I recently, when I turned on the PS3 that we unboxed in a previous video recently, I have Infamous 1 digitally available. I haven't downloaded onto that system yet, but I have Infamous 1 basically. So I wanted to make sure I got a copy of Infamous 2, and this is a nice copy. Nice and clean and complete there with the manual. And there was a little bit of a scratch that they were worried about over at the store. So they gave me 20% off, which is awesome for them to do. To me, it didn't really look that bad, but PS3 discs can kind of be finicky. So if it doesn't work, as always, they guarantee things, so I can take it back if it doesn't work for whatever reason, and you know, I can switch it out for something else. So we got two of the God of War games we're looking for. So what's great about this is it is God of War 1 and 2. So eventually I might actually try to look for these on PS2 because I like to have things on the original console. But as far as just being able to play through all the games leading up to the new God of War, this is a great way to do it. You've got two games remastered for PS3, which is cool, and on one disc and with the manual there. So this was $14.99, as you can see there, and our total trade-in came to about $25 something around there. So $14.99 for this, and we got God of War 3 standalone for PS3 as well. Before we completely move on, I do just want to show the receipt that does have the trade-in values of what we turned in today, not of the individual games, but it's got our trade-in credit there, the $25, along with what we paid for everything else. So just wanted to be legit and by the book. You can see what we put in is what we paid for at least the God of War games. Everything else was just out of pocket, but like I said, they were pretty good deals and couldn't turn it down for the Sharpshooter and that Game Boy Advance SP case. So there you have it. No manual on this one. Eventually I'm gonna have to find that manual if I'm gonna, you know, feel like I've completed the collection, but the box was in pretty good shape and everything else looked good. And the main reason that I had to do it today was because you see there, it was $9.99. So $14.99, $9.99 comes out to $25. So $25 for my trade-in, $25 for the God of War games I was looking for. All I need now is God of War Ghost of Sparta, God of War Chains of Olympus, the PSP games, and God of War Ascension. So we're pretty close. I mean, closer than we were a couple of hours ago, so that worked out great. Overall, great haul, great deals, and thanks for watching.